Over the next 50 minutes or so, Kim and I are going to take you through a journey of just, making sure that everybody's familiar with what it takes to get to be an IACC certified member, what that means, what's the status behind that. And then we will be navigating through a series of different case studies that we've been able to research since Emily and Larissa came up with this wonderful ideas to show what our members are doing around the United States, Canada, and indeed we've got one example or two from outside of the US as well. Feel free to ask questions either via the chat box or just step in. There aren't too many of us really, just to stay on camera, come off mute and just jump in or raise a hand and we'll be here for you and would love to have that discussion. Or indeed, if you see something or you think may have a different benefit, or you're doing something that may have a different benefit, we really hope that we'll cover that at some point during the next 50 minutes or at the end. But okay, let us get started. I am going to kick us off by taking us through the first parts of what it takes to be an IACC certified conference venue. And this reminds me of a story probably about 4 or 5 years ago with IACC's past global president, a gentleman many of you know, Alex Cabanas, CEO of Benchmark or Pyramid Benchmark Hospitality. And he's told this story as eloquently as he tells every story about how he met somebody at one of the Benchmark properties and mentioned that it was an IACC certified property, and this meeting planner didn't know what IACC stood for. And he said, well, that's perfectly okay, but let me tell you, this property is in the top 1% of meetings-focused venues in the world. And it really is a shining standard of brilliance. IACC has been in existence for over 40 years now, and it has always been proud of the fact that it is an association that doesn't just open its doors to everybody or anybody that can write a check, but it opens its doors to those that really do exude those standards of brilliance. And you can see here, it's not just about having the best facilities, it's about having the best food and beverage, about being the most flexible, about showcasing your credentials when it comes to social responsibility, some of our new areas of standards of brilliance. It's about our staffing structure, how we care for our staff. And of course, when all of this comes together in totality, that's when you get that special feeling when you run a conference or a meeting at an IACC certified property at your property. Your customers tell you time and time again, they just feel like they are in safe hands. And to be able to tell that story that you are part of only 400 conference venues in 23 countries around the world, is something really very special. Now, again, we are put in front of meeting planners a lot, whether we're at MPI's World Education Conference or we're at IMEX in Las Vegas next month. We'll be talking to those meeting planners and explaining to them the real difference between going to a regular hotel, a typical hotel, where, of course, all of their focus, both from a leadership perspective, from an investment perspective, from a focus perspective throughout the organization, is on the guest rooms. Yes, hotels or generalist hotels offer all of the other elements that we're used to, but that real focus is on the guest room element, on the revenue management. Whereas if you come to an IACC certified venue, it absolutely flips on its head. You are looking at a focus on the meetings experience. You're looking at everybody from general manager through to the organization staff. The knowledge that they possess is there to really support meetings excellence. It's individuals like you that know how to deal with a crisis when it comes up, know how to put it away, and more importantly, probably know how to solve a crisis before the attendee even knows one exists. The whole structure and the investment and the thought that goes behind it is on the meetings experience. And of course, that's why we're all members of IACC. It's why we pay our annual dues each year, is to stay ahead of the game. to stay brilliant as it relates to creating an exceptional meetings experience. And I always, again, like to use this, and I've used this, you know, in my many years in sales and marketing in conference centers and IAC conference centers. I use this as one of the first differentiators when I'm holding a site inspection with a meeting planner. And like I say, it really doesn't matter whether that individual, and quite frankly, in this day and age, it's very likely that meeting professionals today will have heard of IAC because so many people are new into their role. The roles have changed, the people have changed, you know, industry has changed. So it really is becoming of us to be able to tell this story as to, you know, what part, you know, what makes you special. Now, if anyone is interested in getting a deeper dive into, you know, not only the technicalities of what IAC standards we look towards across all of those different areas that we saw before to become worthy of that IAC certified venue badge, we have created a set of standards of brilliance, which were done exclusively in a language that helps meeting professionals understand why it is that we believe, you know, what we put into our venues and the way we run our venues is better than those that don't. Whether it's the complete meeting package, whether it's the level of investment for the technology that goes into a meeting area, whether it is the different styles of food and beverage, and why we believe they're important, you'll see if you take a look at the Committed to Brilliance section of the IAC website that there are these 9 sections, and every one of those sections show you an example of what you see there, which is why we put in place that standard and why it's important to you as a meeting professional to do that. You know, sometimes I ask myself the question, well, should we be telling meeting planners why something should be important to them? And I think especially now, it's really important that we do this because so many of our clients are what we would call the part-time meeting planner. And that's not being derogatory, it's just being the fact that they are dealing with bigger and more important and maybe more volume of events than ever before, and it's never been a part of their job before. So educating is an important part of the journey and an important part of how you as an individual are seen as more of a consultant than you know, than a person who is there to put in place what the client asks for. So do take a look at the standards of Brilliance, the Committed to Brilliance section of the website, and any one of those 9 tiles will go into a whole lot of reasons why the type of facilities and services you offer make the difference. We just check and see if we got any more participants. No, I think we're all good there. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to share this video just for a minute or two, because it's a timeless video. One of the great Cindy Novotny, who you all know very well, talking about, let me just go back, talking about IAC and why it is an organization that you should be proud to deliver as the reason why you're part of that community. Give me one moment. I will just enable that content. Here we go.
You know, the meetings industry is evolving every day. At IAC, we are doing a very good job of staying on top of that. We have people in...
Oh, beg your pardon, everyone. There we go.
You know, the meetings industry is evolving every day. At IAC, we are doing a very good job of staying on top of that. We have people in all these 27 different countries that are constantly interviewing customers and making a difference because we are giving feedback to our IAC certified venues on what's new, what's clever, what's innovative.
I really like it that IAC certifies their venues, and it really tells you what you're going to get in terms of the professionalism, the meeting facilities, food quality, the technology. And again, that's really important when you're trying to select a venue, that you know what you're going to get before the meeting.
So what I like about the IAC properties, and truly they're a syndicate of many different properties all around the globe. that have standards, that have been certified. And really, in short, what that means is these properties are all specially designed to have details such as super comfortable chairs, because you're sitting all day long. Really great meeting space that's dedicated and specially designed, many with windows, breakout rooms that are dedicated, because we all know that people use breakout rooms a lot more than the general session nowadays. Food and beverage offerings that are offering so much variety, so much ability to be able to break whenever you want to, always have a hot cup of coffee, a staff that's there, that's dedicated to you, that's going to help you plan and execute your meeting with success. That to me is what is so great about IAC and why I feel like I can always recommend it to my customers.
So IAC certification immediately means to all of you that we are communicating a trust to you as a client, that we do it better, that we deliver from the meeting setup to the audio visual, to all the creative food and beverage, to any of the offsite incentive type of programs, trade shows, training meetings, better than anyone in the world.
What does the IAC logo mean for me? I would have to say trust. I see it as a trust mark. It's the sign of what I can expect when I choose an IAC venue.
So when choosing an IAC-based property versus a hotel, an IAC property, you're going to know you have great meeting space. The meeting space is on a 24-hour hold, which allows customers to stay in the meeting room as long as they need to, which does happen. It allows them to be able to leave their notes and brainstorming ideas tacked up to the wall. Oftentimes the meeting space is great in terms of being soundproof. Windows are so important. That natural light coming in keeps people awake. And so the meeting space with an IAC property is far better and exceeds a hotel property, hands down.
So what I always find great about listening to Julian or Mary Beth or Cindy there is actually how important it is to keep reminding ourselves as to how special our venues are. Sometimes we take it for granted, particularly if we've been in an IAC certified venue environment for a number of months or a number of years. It's still not the norm. And those small things that we now take for granted are still a differentiator out there. So how we tell our story is really important. I think also as well, just the fact that we invest in the membership of IAC is really important because, we don't do it for lead generation. We are not, IAC is not a Cvent or a star site. We do it because we want to stay connected to innovation and creativity. So we can talk the way that Cindy and Mary Beth and Julian did there about the experiences, but from a venue side of things. So just wanted to share that, and we'll see some examples along the way how just some of those words that you heard, trust, being the best that we can, how they feature. So now we're going to head into what some of the IAC venues around the world are doing. And I will share this with Emily and Larissa, this deck as a PDF, so you can take a look at it, head to the venues, take a look at the differences. But first of all, here's a property, the Charles F. Knight Executive Conference Centre, who has got IAC on its very first property homepage. So it has a space there the moment you land on the homepage, which again is a really important statement of intent. Here's another example, Bell Harbor out on the West Coast, Seattle way, where they have it on the first page of their meetings area in terms of the plan and event area. And you can see there that it talks about the facilities, but in the sense of there only being 2 in the Washington state area. And I think, again, that's a really smart move. If you are a property, even if you are one of 9, one of 2, one of 11, it still sets your 2, 9, and 11 apart from the hundreds of other conference and meeting generalists there. Because when they go on from your site inspection or when they visited your webpage and gone to the next, believe you me, they'll be looking out for the fact with the other venue to see if they are IAC certified. This other venue as well is calling out the fact that it has a complete meeting package within there, and there's a link there to do that. So again, nice move by Bell Harbour on their meetings landing page. And this one here from the Maritime Conference Centre as well has absolutely taken Cindy's video there with Julie and Mary Beth and embedded the whole part into their website under their meetings and events section. So really nice to do that. And you can do that as well within your website. Feel free to either contact us directly or simply find that video. Event planners explain why IACC certification is important on the IACC YouTube channel, and you can take a copy of that video and have your IT team embed that into your website, just as you can the IACC logo and certainly the IACC certified logo as well. Here, the Norwood Conference Centre are really exuding that sense of pride. You know, they've achieved this status of IACC certification. They're in the top 1% club. They're really proud of it. And there's a couple of locations where they talk about that there, and they've even taken their membership plaque that sits in the meetings area and embedded a picture of it there. So they're using their own words, but you know, that sense of pride exists there. And I'd like to think that if it sits there at a very central level from a marketing and sales perspective online as a digital marketing tool, then the sales team as well are reminded of the fact that they are part of a very small and unique group. So that messaging and those special words go way beyond the digital marketing experience and into the sales team. Here's our one example from the UK as well, quite a nice classy opening to the meetings and event page. This is for a group of hotels and conference centres in the UK, De Vere. They have around 8 members there. But, you know, they talk about their pride in terms of being a part of this elite group. You know, and again, they're writing on their website in a way that is assuming that the person that's reading it doesn't know what IACC is. So it's telling them it's IACC certified, but it's telling them why that's important to them. IACC's got a great little booklet and document with lots of examples, and you might see 1 or 2 sentences that repeat themselves over all these examples, and that's because the IACC Telling the World booklet has been designed to help you. So if you would like a copy of that booklet, then please feel free to drop me an email, but certainly I'll provide a link as well to Larissa and Emily after this event so that you can download that booklet and pass it on to your marketing team. Now, this one I like a lot, not only because I remember I have great fond memories of UCLA Luskin Conference Centre back in 2017 when we took the IACC conference there, and it was an incredible event and an incredible facility. But it reminded me of the fact that actually what they talk about here is the fact that they designed and built the conference centre based upon IACC standards. So right at the very beginning, IACC was at the heart of what that venue looks and feels like and operates like today, because it was built in. And so many venues, you know, that even have existed for a long period of time, it's worth you asking the question, when this property was designed, did it become an IACC member right away? Was the IACC standards way back whenever it was part of the original thinking? Because, you know, IACC is a part of the fabric and, you know, the way the property exists today, whether it's new or whether it's not. So it's a really nice touch there from UCLA to pick up on that fact. The Thayer Hotel up at West Point, beautiful historic hotel, one of my favorites there, just on the edge of the Hudson. Again, had taken a slightly different approach to doing this, but you know, they're talking about why they became a member of IACC, their dedication to delivering service beyond that of many hotels. They wanted to be able to boast that they're providing a meetings experience that's absolutely unique. And they believe that, you know, being a part of IACC and going through the certification has helped their team just stay that one step ahead. And of course, we know that that's exactly what it is that all of you do. The reason you come to the annual conference, the reason you invest in attending the Master Connections webinars that IAC puts on, or the very specific conference center sales training that we're going to hear Kim talk about in a little while. All of those lead back to the fact that we just want to be better. We just want to be one step ahead of the competition always. And we want our clients to know it because we're really, really proud of that fact. Normandy Farm here is highlighting why planners prefer IACC certified venues. So again, if you like what you saw in that video in terms of those meeting professionals talking about, you know, what it is in their eyes that makes IACC certified venues different and somewhere they can trust, even if they've never been to one of the venues before. And I can tell you hands down, Mary Beth Grand Prix from CSN Networks, who you heard there, the amount of emails I get from Mary Beth who says, Mark, can you just help me? We're trying to find somewhere in Berlin. We need to find somewhere in Paris. You know, do we have any IACC certified properties? Mary Beth, as long as she knows that they're part of IACC, has no concern over the quality of those venues. And that's what we hope, that all meeting planners can have that same level of confidence that the value, you know, what they're going to get is exceptional when they see an IACC certified venue on a website. But here again, Normandy Farm just picking out some of those differences, so we can see lots of examples of where it's been picked up, even on the social media channels. So this one I thought was quite interesting because they've chosen Twitter to mention IACC, but they've actually created a photo and called it the IACC Certified Conference Center Concierge Desk and Foyer. That's not a title we've given them. That's just a title that they thought, you know what, let's embed that into the title of the image and the photo. And of course, that helps with the search engines. And again, it's just another not so subtle way of saying, we're IACC, we're better. We've created this concierge desk and foyer around those standards of brilliant. And we've got a truly brilliant space there. Whether you're a new member of IACC, whether you're thinking of becoming a member of IACC, or whether you've been a member of IACC for many years, it really doesn't matter how you use it on the social channels, but do use it. Here are some examples of, you know, the San Ramon Valley Conference Center talking about IACC certification on here. Waltham Woods have done exactly the same. So your opportunity to just remind your digital marketing team, hey, we've got this badge of honor. Let's use it as much as we can and leverage. And anyone who's interested in just really where IACC started, and I know this is quite niche in regards to, you know, we can't all pick it up and say that, you know, our CEO was one of the founding fathers of IACC like Bert Cabanas does. But just the way that Benchmark have a dedicated page on their website talking about their organization and IACC, for any of you, whether you're an independent property or part of a management company and a group that really believe in IACC, putting the people behind it, whether that is Alex, whether that's Susan Liston, whether it's, you know, it really doesn't matter. But when you've got people within your organization that eat, breathe, and sleep the IACC experience, they're great to be able to tell those stories of, you know, why your organization invests in the IACC certification. Marketing materials, proposals, bids, they're all your opportunity to talk about IACC certification. On this example, they've chosen to really home in on the fact that they offer a complete meeting package, that they are members, proud members of IACC's Green Star and Better Tomorrow initiative. So whatever part of IACC really resonates with you and is important to you as an organization, it's really important to feature in there, and you can use IACC to do that. Now, Kim, I've taken you through a bit of a whirlwind there, everybody through a whirlwind of IACC examples. Hopefully, some of that will tee you up nicely to talk about how you can help IACC as well, and that our members really put these tools to great use. And I know you're going to talk us through some of the different ways that Master Connections can support the sales team members and sales leaders at our organization. So over to you. Appreciate the time. Oh, you're on mute.
muted. Of course I'm muted. Any questions for Mark before we move on? I know we're going to do some questions at the end, but at this moment, if there's anything that's pressing for people, it might be good to get those shouted out now. Any questions for Mark?
No, we'll hang on to
They-
the end. Great.
And on the chat too. So I think what's been really fun for me to see too is just all of the different ways that we can continue to market what makes this such an important certification. But what's really critical in all this, and you made a point of saying it too in that one UK property, Mark, is that we can say we're IACC certified, but lots of times our clients don't know how great that is. And so it takes us as sellers to really be able to communicate to them why they care about that, why that should be important in their decision making, why it does make us elite conference centers, and why their meeting experience will be better. And so we can do all the marketing, all the social media, all the communication on our websites that we want, but we know as sellers, I think, that we have the greatest influence in creating this sense of value to our clients as to what this is really going to mean for them. And I think we all believe certainly that it does make a difference to be IACC certified. And so how do we communicate that to our clients in a way that shows that we're really proud out loud, but also is convincing in showing them and articulating them why they should choose then to have their meeting experience with us at our venue, at our conference center, because of the IACC difference. And so we have put together a number of what we call our blended learning approach at MCA. And so we have some classroom offerings as sales solutions for you to help you sell the IACC difference. We have some webinars that Mark's already mentioned. I'll go into a little bit of detail about them as well. And then some e-learning. So a lot of different avenues for us to help our sellers and to help ourselves as individuals become more confident in the sales process, but specifically how it relates to selling the conference center model, to selling meetings specifically. I liked how you said so clearly, Mark, about this. It's the structure and the investment is all focused on the meeting experience. So we need to sell how that is different. We need to articulate that to our clients, why that is different. So the first set of solutions that we have are classroom training. And classroom training is, as you would imagine, we come to you at your venue. And so a couple options there for that would be for us to come specifically to your venue and train only your people, or as a region, perhaps as you here in the New York, New Jersey, and New England area could come together and host or sponsor training that you can invite your individual salespeople to, keeping those costs a little bit better. But what's unique about the classroom training that we've created for IACC, it is bespoke training that is specific to Conference Center as the platform for the meeting. And so, yes, we're going through the essentials of selling, whether it's the level 1 sort of basic selling and level 2 strategic selling. It is all focused around what it means to sell in that conference center environment and being able to create that value-added difference. And so it is a great opportunity for us as sellers and for you as leaders to have your sellers have a nice career path about how they can increase their confidence around selling, and specifically their confidence in how they're distinguishing that IACC difference. And so we have partnered with Mark and we've worked closely with the team at IACC to really identify what are the things that are going to create success around how to sell that IACC difference, that conference at venue center versus that typical hotel, and how we can sell that confidently to our clients. And so what it does for us as an association, as a group, and as a team is creates a very common language about how we clearly articulate that in the best way that creates excitement, that gets people motivated around wanting to have their events, meetings with us, and creates a sense of pride in what we can do and what we're able to offer that is truly different than that typical hotel experience. So our sessions, I don't know how many of you have ever been to an MCA session before. We do a lot of training in the industry on the sales and catering side, but they're highly interactive, very engaged, a lot of learning, but a lot of touching, feeling, exercises, role plays, presentations, all sorts of things to help us really learn and practice how to do this better, and can be offered in both a 2-day and a 3-day format. So I'm going to very quickly just go through the 5 courses, I should say, that we have outlined specifically for IACC, and then just give a little tidbit about each one of those. But you can find these all on the IACC website by clicking on the education tab and then dropping down to the sales solutions. It'll give you an overview of each of these 5 sessions as well. So we start with the level 1 session, which is geared towards sellers of any kind, and really does take us through the trends and challenges that we're experiencing in the meeting industry now, how to identify the best prospects for us, some clear steps about how to do prospecting. So we break prospecting down into 3 distinct steps to be successful in finding the right business for our properties. And then we go into some essential sales skills around asking the right questions, knowing how to position questions with meeting planners, and particularly our not so experienced meeting planners, as Mark articulated earlier. They often don't know what they don't know. And so we have to guide them through that sales process, but not by pushing what we can do, but first by asking the right questions to understand what their challenges, their concerns, their needs are, so that we can then show them how we are the best solution. So asking those right questions and then presenting those solutions in a way that really articulates the IACC difference. And particularly in this workshop, we'll go into creating FAB statements. So there's a feature, edge to benefit statements around how your sellers and how you personally can show the benefits of what being IACC certified looks like. And so what are the differences in our complete meeting package? What are the differences in our technology? Why does having the existing room set up, as the individual in the video talked about, why is that such a value? Why do I care that someone's not going to be breaking down that meeting room at the end of my meeting and putting it back up at the next day? Why do I care that I leave my flip charts out? Why do I care about the continuous breaks? We have to be able to articulate those benefits so people can see why they'd want to choose that. So that level 1 sales training will take your sellers or you through really building your confidence around how to sell that difference, how to overcome objections that we may experience around conference dining, around package pricing, all those things to help to make us be more articulate and confident in that. In the 3-day version of this, we also do incorporate a half day that we spend with operations, kind of building that sales operations relationship and communication so that we can really create this very turnkey and seamless meeting experience. So that's the level 1 sales training. And then we offer a level 2 that's more strategic as we think about how to position our meeting focused venues. And so our level 2 sales training for IACC is geared a little bit more toward growing existing accounts. We look at how to build and grow business within those existing accounts. We offer a mapping tool to help us do that. And then talk a lot about the influencers and the positioning of certain accounts and how we can continue to grow, share, grow influence, and continue to build business with our existing business. And so targeting some of those larger accounts of ours, I mean, we already have some influence, we already have some leverage, and continuing to grow that meetings business with those existing customers that we do have. So it builds on the level 1, really sort of essential sales basics around the tactics of sales, to then be more strategic and how we are going after the right business and continuing to build strong relationships with our existing customers and grow that business. So we touch into, as I said, influencing, positioning, negotiating, and also, as always in every sales training that we do, work on mastering better presentations, because it is all about how we're presenting ourselves to our clients. That is really critical. We then have, first of all, just as a quick note, to go to the level 2 workshop, you do have to first attend or have hosted a level 1 session. We do need to work on those basics and those tactics first before then being able to move on to level 2. So then we have a very specific workshop specifically designed for presenting. This is an advanced presentation skills class, one that most are quite scared about going to initially, actually, but after they've been to the 2 or 3 days, have built their confidence tremendously around presenting. And so it is a very intensive presentation skills class where we teach the open body closed model around how to effectively do presentations for organizing, presenting virtually, presenting in person. Over the course of the 2 or 3 days, the individuals are giving about 6 to 7 different presentations. So a lot of hands-on practice about how to be more effective in our presenting. Then a couple others that are very specific to a couple different markets. So we have an event sales solution that is geared toward our EMMs, our catering sales managers, conference planning managers, special event coordinators, those who are handling catering, often not a lot of rooms piece, or in the conference planning, conference services side with the upselling. And so we really dig into not only the sales basics like you would encounter in the level one for the sellers that we already mentioned, but also a lot about profitability. So we talk about the relationship between operations and our ability to sell appropriately, how to understand menu engineering, how to understand what menus are most profitable, how to build really strong relationships with our chefs to make sure that as we're selling and in that conference planning and conference services role, that we how to upsell effectively, knowing the profitability and understanding what makes us the most money, and then being able to connect that with what our clients are looking for most. So a little twist on a level one sort of sales training, but very specifically done on the upselling and the profitability and the margins. It's important for us to understand, not to get into all the food costing and labor, but we have to understand a little bit about that to be very educated in how we're selling and upselling in the correct way. And then the final classroom workshop is our Developing the IAC Leader, which is specific to our directors of sales and marketing, directors of catering, our leaders out there in our world, to help develop and support and encourage our teams within that IAC difference culture. So how do I coach my teams on how they are selling, how they're selling the IAC difference, how to communicate that message to them on a regular basis, how to develop them as a leader. So building on some of the skills that they've maybe perhaps learned in the sales training and some of the sales solutions we've offered, how to continue to coach them, how to develop them within their role, how to give appropriate feedback, how to build the team together, how do I bring my whole team together, and then also how do I empower my sales team to really go out there and deliver that difference and know how to do that with confidence. So those are the essential classroom workshops focused on some very specific sales training. We then also offer webinars. This is kind of twofold. And so as Mark mentioned, we do often have a series of sales webinars that we do about once a month, about every other month, that we do for the IAC population. You can see we actually have one coming up. Well, I don't have it on here. It's actually on the website now. Coming up on Thursday on closing. And so this is open to any IAC member to participate in for free. 1 hour webinars that we offer that MCA participates in and hosts with. And then I know you, Mark, and the IAC team also have other webinars that focus on different topics throughout the year as well. But the ones that MCA participates in are very specific, again, to the sales process. So we pull out one part of the sales process, like closing for this month. Next month, I think it's probing and asking the right questions. And we just focus that hour on those specific skills. But we can also...
I'll just take the opportunity, Kim, if I may, just to mention the fact that we can be far more effective in communicating these webinars if we have as many of your team members' contact details as possible on the IAC database. So for anyone who's got new sales team members, or you embed it as a part of your induction programming, just let Heidi know, Heidi Lapka know the name of any new team members that you would like to get the IAC invitations to webinars. And a lot of really savvy IAC sales leaders also dial into that as a group. So they get together in a room and they join the webinars and have that as a pre or post sales conference as well, sales meeting as well. So just wanted to add that we would love to get as many of your teams taking advantage of those 1 hour great, learning opportunities.
And I think what's really great and unique about these is there is obviously a key learning element to it. Like someone from MCA will be training on a very specific topic, like Thursday is closing or upcoming is probing. But you also get a lot of dialogue and exchange with other IAC members. So what challenges are they having with closing? How have they overcome that? Or what are some of their ideas? We just did prospecting not too long ago. And so we get to share those common challenges. We get to share those common successes. We get to hear the best practices of what our other members are doing and successfully doing in selling that IAC difference. So I really love those sessions, although they're short and sweet and quick. It does allow the community to engage together and share best practices in that way as well. You could do the same thing regionally or within your own property as well. So MCA could do customized sales skills webinars for your specific venue, or again, on a regional basis with your team here in New York, New Jersey, and New England. We could do the same thing. We could pick up. So just like we've done today, Larissa and Emily came to Mark and said, we'd like to do this topic. We can do the same thing on any of the sales focused topics, from asking the right questions to selling, to presenting virtually, to closing, to again, just specifically, how do we sell and market the IAC difference? So those can be very customized to whatever the needs are within your region, or specifically within your venue, wanting to do maybe a quick brush off on some of those specific skills. So we make those very interactive. We do breakouts, we do conversation. So it's not just people listening to us talk for the 60 or 90 minutes that we would do in those webinars. And again, those are listed. The upcoming public ones are listed on the IAC website. And I'll just pop onto that quickly at the end so you can see that. And then, of course, the ones that we're offering to everyone are in that IAC webinar lineup, are available there as well. The final sort of blended learning approach we have is a partnership with IAC has created some very specific e-learning courses that are available to the IAC membership as well. And so where classroom training would be something that you would want to do as a group or as a region, decide together that we would like to host a training, and let's start with this level 1, or let's do something for our leaders. And even the webinars you would probably decide to do together as a team or as a region together to come together to do this. The e-learning allows you to target individuals that need training. So it's a great tool to use for onboarding. It's a great tool to use when somebody specific just needs a brush up in a specific skill. And so it's all web-based, sort of individually based e-learning. So people log in, they select a course, and then they go through that course one-on-one via the computer on their own. So it's on a self-paced sort of journey for them. And there's a number of sales topics, number of customer service topics, also leadership and personal development. And I'll share what those are here in just a moment. The sales ones are specific to those key elements of the sales process. So prospecting again, overcoming objections, negotiating, closing. There's a leadership one and developing their team. And then specific titles around customer service, personal development, and customer communication as well. What's great about this, as I've already mentioned, is it can be very individualized. So it's great for onboarding new staff. It's great for refreshing skills, where maybe if everybody needs a refresh in prospecting, you could do a webinar on prospecting. But if you only have one individual who's struggling a little bit in prospect and just needs that little extra coaching, you could have them then just go and do the one e-learning course on prospecting. And then together you could do some coaching and some individual development with them on those specific needs. So refreshing skills, retraining, supporting any of your own property efforts. And so not just for your sellers, but you see we have customer service topics, we have leadership topics, personal development topics. All of that will allow you to train your teams, even outside of the sales arena, so your operations team as well, and really giving them that strong foundation around not only customer service, not only sales, but again, how specifically that relates to selling the IAC venue and what's going to be important to them. And so each of those e-learning courses is about 45 to 60 minutes, but it is self-paced, so they can go as fast or as slow as they want to go. There's a little test at the end that allow them to test out and say, I do understand the topics that were discussed, and allows you to have some measurement there in respect to that. They can start and end at any time. So you can get into it, you can start it. Maybe you can't finish at that moment, and you can log back in right away again, and then allow you an opportunity to just pick up what you left off and continue the course. But really, as you for leaders or you individually as sellers can build kind of your own training track around where you need to grow your skills and have those accessible to you through that. It is billed then through credit card or PayPal, and that's all available on the website for you to do, and will allow you to get continuing education credits there as well. So I just wanted to show you the site quickly. Let me start with the e-learning site, and then I know we're going to have some opportunity for some questions. But this is accessible just through iac.mcalearning.com, and it brings you to the login page for the e-learning. And if you've never used it before, you just click in as a new user, create a login for yourself, and then the pay options will come up. But here's the course catalog that tells you those different course descriptions, from leadership to sales skills, a couple of personal development around time management and writing, managing customer relationships, and then also some customer service. So a lot of opportunities there. But back to that main page, there's a little video even that shows you how to use it, how to log on, what are some of the uses for it. And then you can go ahead and create that login for yourself. So that's the e-learning is on a separate site from the main IACC site. Again, it's iac.mcalearning.com. And then the other solutions that we've talked about are available right through the IACC online.org site. Under the events and educations tab, you will see the webinar lineup here, which will show you quickly, shows you the upcoming. So as I said, we have closing coming up on Thursday, which I think there's still some spots for that. And then October, we're tackling prospecting. And then in November, we're tackling probing and qualifying. And then Mark and the team have another session here at the end of September on visioning. That's always a great session to see those benchmarking and those results from that study. And then from there also, then the sales solutions, you can drop down on the site and see just a quick overview of those, and then how to contact Shelly at our team in order to participate in some of that fantastic training. So that's what I have to share as far as just ways that we can come alongside you to help grow you personally, your seller's confidence around how to sell the IACC difference, how to be able to articulate that, and how to just grow themselves individually as sales professionals.
Kim, thank you so much, and we'll open up to questions in just a moment. But I wanted to pick up on two points again, just so we take those away alongside all of the great stuff that you've shared there. First of all, I think we're privileged to have Master Connection Associates as the long-standing partner that we have, the passion and understanding of our specific part of the industry is something that I know is not replicated for others out there. So really do encourage all of us to, not only leverage our IACC certification, but leverage the fantastic sales opportunities that we've got to develop our teams. The 2 points that I wanted to make was one that Kim made very early on, which is, even if you are a standalone property and you're not part of a larger management company where you can take the live bespoke Master Connections courses for 10 or 12 or 15 of you, you can absolutely do that as a region and as a community of like-minded venues. So if you have any interest in any of those courses but have 2 or 3 people, then we will work together either through Larissa, through Sarah, through Emily regionally, or we'll even go further and try and see if we could get 12 or 15 people together to commit to doing it and making it cost effective. And really, at the end of the day, don't think of it in relation to, that you're sitting side by side with your competitors. Think about it that you're sitting side by side with your future collaborators, because this is the world that we live in now. When we can't handle the piece of business, when we want to help a customer out, we remember the sales professional that we spent 3 days with across the desk, and we're there for each other. So I do just encourage you to think about that. And the second piece really was the leadership training. And I hear a lot, and Kim is very passionate about the fact that our industry has been very good at some of the more technical training that's been put in place for individuals. But when it comes to leadership training, that's something that unfortunately has been a little further down the list. But it's great leaders that not only welcome people into the organization because they're inspired to work for them, but it's great leaders that create the culture for all of those new incredible people that you're bringing in to feel wanted, welcomed, and part of a culture that they want to exist in. So we can't have people disappear out of the back door as quickly as they walked in the front door. So leadership training is something that I know IACC and Master Connections Associates really want to highlight as important for the long-term stability and growth for our organization and people. But on that note, I'm happy to open up to any questions that anyone has before we hand back over to our regional ambassador team.
I was just going to add that I think there could be an opportunity, just hearing all the things, Kim, that we can offer our sales forces. With many of us are not associated with a large hotel management company that does a lot of sales training. And for those of us that are even in Aramark, we really don't do that. So maybe we can put out some type of survey. I guess I'm big on the surveys, but some type of questionnaire asking those centers that are externally marketed if they would have interest in doing something like a 2-day seminar for sales. We're all looking to invest in our team. This could be something where, you know, they travel to it and they attend a 2-day training to increase their skills. It could be something worth that investment. So I don't know what everyone else thinks. We've got some salespeople on here today. If anyone wants to add to that.
I think it's a great point, Sarah. I think what Kim just presented, what they make available to us as IAC members is worth our fees on that alone, not to mention all the other benefits we get as being IAC members. Just really grateful that you all are so generous in what you make available through these webinars and these opportunities, and taking it to that next step, like Sarah, you're recommending, I think is a great idea to really continue to drive the value to the IAC members, you know, especially on something critical like sales training and management training.
A great point, Paul and Sarah. I think that's an excellent idea to see if we can't be proactive in bringing groups together for live sales training. But points really well made. Thank you both. Okay, well, on that note, then I'm going to hand over to our illustrious ambassadors to close out today's session, and just again take the opportunity to thank Kim for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and thank you both for inviting us on to join this session.
Absolutely, thank you, Mark and Kim and Emily, for creating the idea and letting the New Jersey, New York region tag along on today. It was great. Emily, do you have anything you wanted to say?
No, again, thank you so much for joining us. And, you know, we'll get a copy of this recording and distribute it to you and everyone else that was invited that couldn't make it. And if you want to pass it along to your teams. And then again, we touched on this, but as you're thinking about what your team looks like, if you can just kind of send it over to IACC so we can make sure to include the additional staff that's on your team so we could reach everybody that's, you know, within your property, and just kind of expand our network that way so we can get more education within the region out to them. That'd be great.
Absolutely. And then Emily and I sent our region a survey. So take your time if you haven't already and complete that survey. Basically just what you want to get out of your IACC membership. And that's great for Mark and the team to know what more they can do for us.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure as always. Looking forward to seeing everybody maybe in November for the Copper Skillet, and if not, we'll see you all in Basking Ridge in April next year, I'm sure. But great to see your smiling faces. Have a great week.
Thanks so
Bye,
much,
everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.